Discussion on verses 1 to 11 of 11. This chapter opens by directing attention to some of the most remarkable patterns within creation, inviting deep reflection upon signs that clearly affirm the oneness of Allah, the Exalted, and establish that He alone deserves absolute obedience at every moment. Chapter 93 Duhaa, verses 1 to 2.
By the morning brightness, and by the night when it covers with darkness.
The continuous alternation between night and day is not a random or accidental occurrence, but a precisely regulated system essential for sustaining life on Earth. The relationship between the sun and the earth produces a perfectly measured cycle of light and darkness. Daylight creates the optimal conditions for people to work, seek provision, travel, pursue knowledge, and fulfill their worldly duties. In contrast, the night provides a necessary period for rest, recovery, and mental renewal. The human body itself is designed in accordance with this pattern, as sleep cycles, energy levels, and emotional stability are all closely connected to the consistent rhythm of day and night. When this balance is maintained, individuals and societies thrive. When it is disrupted, the consequences appear in declining physical health, mental strain, and social imbalance. The variation in the duration of days and nights throughout the year further demonstrates divine wisdom. Longer days in certain seasons allow for extended productivity, travel, and agricultural activity, while longer nights in other periods facilitate increased rest and reflection. These seasonal changes support plant growth, regulate climates, and preserve ecological balance across the Earth. If this precise system were altered, the results would be disastrous. Excessively long days would cause exhaustion, overheating, and disruption to natural biological rhythms, making normal functioning difficult for both humans and animals. Similarly, prolonged nights would limit activity, hinder livelihoods, and reduce access to essential needs. If nights were consistently shortened, insufficient rest would lead to chronic fatigue, weakened immunity, and widespread mental health difficulties. Crops and vegetation, which rely on specific patterns of light and darkness, would also be severely affected, threatening the food supply for all living beings. This balance is not limited to the cycle of day and night. Rather, it forms part of a vast and interconnected system in which countless elements operate in precise harmony. The consistency of sunrise and sunset, the regularity of seasons, and the stability of natural laws all point toward a single perfectly wise creator. Such order cannot arise from chance. If multiple creators with differing wills existed, disorder and conflict would inevitably occur, and the delicate balance observed in the universe would collapse. Chapter 21 Al-Anbiya, verse 22.
Had there been within them, i.e., the heavens and earth gods besides Allah, they both would have been ruined.
Thus, the alternation of night and day is not merely a background feature of existence. It is a powerful and continuous sign of divine unity and wisdom. Just as the universe remains stable under the command of Allah, the Exalted, a person can only achieve true balance, mentally, physically, and spiritually, by submitting to His guidance and organizing their life according to the teachings He has revealed. When the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, did not receive divine revelation for a short period, a non-Muslim noblewoman remarked that he had been forsaken. In response to this claim, Allah, the Exalted, revealed the opening verses of chapter 93 Duhaa, verses 1 to 3.
By the morning brightness, and by the night when it covers with darkness. Your Lord has not taken leave of you, nor has He detested you.
This incident is recorded in a hadith found in Sahih Bukhari, number 4950. It is inconceivable that Allah, the Exalted, would forsake the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, when he was constant in remembering Him. In fact, in a divine hadith found in Sahih Bukhari, number 7405, Allah, the Exalted, declares that He is with the one who remembers Him. This establishes a powerful principle: divine closeness is directly connected to remembrance. In a time where mental struggles, such as depression and anxiety, are increasingly common, it is essential for a person to reflect on the meaning of this declaration. In ordinary life, when someone is supported by a person who genuinely cares for them, their emotional and mental burdens are significantly eased. If this is true in human relationships, then it is far more true when it comes to Allah, the Exalted, whose care, mercy, and support are perfect and limitless. A person who consistently remembers Allah, the Exalted, is never truly alone, regardless of their physical circumstances. This is why the righteous individuals of the past maintained inner stability, whether they were in isolation or among people. They were always conscious of the presence of Allah, the Exalted. Furthermore, from His vast mercy, Allah, the Exalted, did not restrict this promise to a specific group. It is not limited to those of the highest spiritual rank or those free from sin. Rather, it is open to every person, regardless of their current state, as long as they engage in remembrance. This means that no one should fall into despair or believe they are beyond hope. However, this promise is tied to a condition. A person must actively remember Allah, the Exalted. This remembrance is not limited to words alone. It begins with correcting one's intention, ensuring that actions are performed sincerely for the sake of Allah, the Exalted, without seeking recognition or gratitude from others. It extends to speech, by speaking good or remaining silent, and reaches its highest level when a person uses all the blessings they have been granted in ways that please Allah, the Exalted, as outlined in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. When a person lives in this manner, they naturally achieve balance within their mental and physical state. They begin to place everything and everyone in their life correctly, fulfilling their responsibilities while maintaining inner peace. This state not only prepares them for their accountability on the Day of Judgment, but also grants them tranquility in this world. Chapter 93 Duhaa, verses 4-5.
And the hereafter is better for you than the first life. And your Lord is going to give you, and you will be satisfied.
In essence, the relationship is clear. The more a person remembers and obeys Allah, the Exalted, the more they experience His support and closeness. What a person gives in effort and sincerity is what they receive in return, and there is no greater return than the company and aid of Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 93 Duhaa, verse 3.
Your Lord has not taken leave of you, nor has He detested you.
A person must not evaluate the support of Allah, the Exalted, based on outward worldly circumstances. Experiencing hardship does not mean that Allah, the Exalted, has abandoned them, just as experiencing ease and comfort does not necessarily mean they have attained His pleasure. Chapter 89 Al-Fajr, verses 15-20.
And as for man, when his Lord tries him and thus is generous to him and favors him, he says, My Lord has honored me. But when he tries him and restricts his provision, he says, My Lord has humiliated me. No. But you do not honor the orphan. And you do not encourage one another to feed the poor. And you consume inheritance, devouring it altogether. And you love wealth with immense love.
These verses expose a common but flawed way of thinking, judging divine favor or displeasure purely through material gain or loss. In reality, both ease and hardship are simply different forms of tests from Allah, the Exalted. The true purpose of these situations is to reveal the state of a person's character and faith. Times of ease test whether a person will show sincere gratitude, while times of difficulty test whether they will remain patient and steadfast. Gratitude is a comprehensive quality that goes far beyond verbal acknowledgement. It begins with intention, where a person ensures that their actions are performed purely to please Allah, the Exalted. It is reflected in speech, by choosing words that are beneficial or remaining silent when necessary. It is completed through actions, by using every blessing, such as wealth, health, time and influence, in ways that are pleasing to Allah, the Exalted, as outlined in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. True gratitude transforms blessings into means of drawing closer to Allah, the Exalted, rather than sources of distraction or misuse. On the other hand, patience during hardship requires discipline and trust. It involves controlling one's speech and actions, refraining from complaint, and continuing to obey Allah, the Exalted, despite the difficulty faced. It also requires firm belief that whatever Allah, the Exalted, chooses is ultimately best, even if the wisdom behind it is not immediately understood. Chapter 2 Al-Baqarah, verse 216.
But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows while you know not.
A person who internalizes this understanding will view life differently. They will not be deceived by temporary comfort, nor overwhelmed by temporary hardship. Instead, they will remain focused on responding correctly in every situation. By doing so, they secure the continuous support and mercy of Allah, the Exalted. This support may not always manifest as worldly ease, but it appears in more profound ways, such as inner peace, clarity of mind, strength in adversity, and the ability to remain balanced regardless of circumstances. Such a person achieves a stable mental and physical state, correctly places everything and everyone within their life, and prepares effectively for their accountability on the Day of Judgment. This leads to true tranquility in both worlds. This principle has been affirmed in a hadith found in Sahih Muslim, number 7500. Chapter 93 Ad-Duhaa, verses 4-5.
And the hereafter is better for you than the first life. And your Lord is going to give you, and you will be satisfied.
Although the following verses were revealed specifically regarding the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, their meaning extends to others in a broader sense, offering guidance and reassurance to every person. Chapter 93 Ad-Duhaa, verses 6-8.
Did he not find you an orphan and give you refuge? And he found you wandering, seeking guidance and guided. And he found you poor and enriched.
These verses highlight a powerful reality. Allah, the Exalted, nurtures, supports, and elevates those who turn to Him, even if their beginnings are marked by difficulty, uncertainty, or weakness. A person who reflects on their own life will often find similar moments where they were aided, guided, and provided for in ways they did not expect. This reflection strengthens trust in Allah, the Exalted, and reassures a person that they are never abandoned, even during challenging phases of life. In general, when a person chooses a path different from those around them, especially a path rooted in obedience to Allah, the Exalted, it can unsettle others. This is particularly true when others are attached to their own desires and lifestyles. Seeing someone prioritize faith and discipline may cause them to feel uncomfortable about their own choices, which can lead to criticism, mockery, or even hostility. Often this pressure comes from those closest to a person, such as family or peers, making the test even more difficult. In addition, modern societal influences intensify this challenge. Social media, fashion trends, and cultural expectations frequently promote lifestyles centered on self-indulgence, status, and outward appearance. In such an environment, the values of Islam, such as modesty, restraint, and accountability, are sometimes portrayed as barriers to success or enjoyment. As a result, those who strive to live according to Islamic teachings may face subtle or direct pressure to compromise their principles. Certain industries and social narratives may even actively discourage adherence to these values, as they conflict with systems built upon unchecked desire and material gain. Furthermore, those who sincerely strive to live in accordance with Islamic teachings which promote moderation, self-restraint, and the responsible use of the blessings granted to them, are often met with criticism and resistance from individuals who choose a path of excess. Such individuals tend to act upon their desires without restraint, a mode of living that Islamic teachings identify as degrading to the level of impulse-driven behavior rather than principled human conduct. In many cases, these individuals attempt to discourage others from embracing Islam or from practicing it properly, seeking instead to draw them toward a lifestyle defined by unchecked desires and temporary gratification. Their criticisms frequently focus on visible aspects of Islam, such as the dress code prescribed for women, using these as a means to undermine the broader message of the faith. However, those who reflect carefully can recognize that such objections are often superficial and rooted in discomfort with the discipline and structure that Islam promotes. A clear inconsistency appears in their approach. While they may strongly criticize the Islamic dress code, they do not apply the same scrutiny to other established dress standards found in various professions, such as law enforcement, the military, healthcare, education, or corporate environments. In these contexts, specific attire is accepted without objection, as it is understood to serve a purpose related to identity, professionalism, or function. Yet when it comes to Islam, similar principles are singled out and challenged. This selective criticism exposes a lack of consistency, and reveals that the issue is not truly about clothing itself, but about resistance to the values of discipline, modesty, and accountability that Islamic teachings promote. In reality, it is often the strength of Islamic principles and the disciplined conduct of those who adhere to them that provoke such reactions. The emphasis on self-control, moral responsibility, and purposeful living stands in direct contrast to a lifestyle driven by desire and impulse. As a result, some individuals feel compelled to criticize Islam in various ways, not necessarily because of genuine intellectual objections, but because its teachings challenge their preferences and way of life. If a person abandons the commands of Allah, the Exalted, in order to gain the approval of others, the result will be a loss of inner peace. This is because such a choice leads to the misuse of the blessings they have been granted, whether it be time, wealth, relationships, or abilities. Gradually, this misuse creates imbalance within their life, causing confusion, stress, and dissatisfaction. Even if they achieve outward success or comfort, they will struggle to find true contentment, as their life lacks proper direction and purpose. More importantly, this neglect leaves them unprepared for their accountability on the Day of Judgment, resulting in far greater consequences in the hereafter. Therefore, a person must remain firm in sincerely obeying Allah, the Exalted, regardless of external pressures or opinions. This steadfastness brings a form of protection that may not always be immediately visible, but is deeply effective. It safeguards the heart, preserves clarity of purpose, and enables a person to use their blessings correctly. Through this, they achieve balance in their mental and physical state, organize their life appropriately, and prepare themselves for their final accountability. Ultimately, such commitment leads to true tranquility in both worlds. A person who remains devoted to Allah, the Exalted, is guided through every situation, whether ease or hardship, with wisdom and stability. Their peace of mind is strengthened, their path is made clear, and their efforts are rewarded beyond measure. Chapter 93 Duhaa, verses 6-8.
Did he not find you an orphan and give you refuge? And he found you wandering, seeking guidance and guided. And he found you poor and enriched.
In order to maintain a firm and unwavering mindset, a person must actively cultivate strong faith. Such faith is essential for remaining steadfast in the sincere obedience of Allah, the Exalted, in every circumstance, whether during periods of ease or moments of hardship. It is this strength of faith that anchors a person, preventing them from being shaken by changing situations, emotions, or external pressures. Strong faith is not developed passively. Rather, it is built through consistently learning, reflecting upon, and implementing the clear guidance found in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. These sources repeatedly demonstrate that true success and inner tranquility are the direct result of sincere obedience to Allah, the Exalted. The more a person understands and acts upon these teachings, the more they begin to recognize the wisdom behind divine commands, even when those commands appear difficult or contrary to personal desires. In contrast, the one who remains distant from Islamic knowledge will inevitably possess weak and unstable faith. Such a person is far more likely to abandon obedience when faced with situations that conflict with their preferences or ambitions. Their limited understanding prevents them from appreciating that restraining their desires and submitting to the guidance of Allah, the Exalted, is not a loss, but rather the very means of attaining peace of mind and true contentment in both worlds. Furthermore, weak faith often leads to confusion in decision-making, whereby a person begins to prioritize temporary worldly gains over lasting spiritual success. This imbalance causes them to misuse the blessings they have been granted, resulting in disorder within their mental and physical state, and leading them to misplace priorities, relationships, and responsibilities within their life. Therefore, it is essential for a person to actively seek beneficial knowledge and, more importantly, to translate that knowledge into action. Through this combination, certainty of faith is strengthened, allowing a person to remain consistent in obedience to Allah, the Exalted, regardless of the situation they face. This consistency ensures that they utilize every blessing, whether wealth, health, time, or relationships, in a manner that is pleasing to Him. As a result, they attain a balanced mental and physical state, correctly position everything and everyone within their life, and adequately prepare for their accountability on the Day of Judgment. This way of living ultimately leads to true tranquility, stability, and success in both this world and the hereafter. Chapter 93 Duhaa, verse 7.
And he found you wandering, seeking guidance, and guided.
A person who experiences a midlife crisis often begins to question the purpose of their existence and feels a deep sense of emptiness within, despite possessing wealth, status, and significant worldly achievements. This inner void is not caused by a lack of material success, but rather by a failure to fulfill the true purpose for which they were created. The purpose of human existence is to gain knowledge of Allah, the Exalted, so that one may obey and worship Him correctly. This includes using every blessing one has been granted, such as time, health, wealth, and relationships, in ways that are pleasing to Him, as outlined in the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Chapter 51 Ad-Dariyat, verse 56.
I did not create jinn and humans except to worship me.
This concept can be illustrated through a simple example. If a person owns a highly advanced mobile phone with numerous impressive features, yet it fails to perform its primary function, making calls, they will inevitably feel dissatisfied. Regardless of how beneficial the additional features may be, the device has failed in its core purpose, leaving the owner with a sense of incompleteness. In the same way, a person may achieve success in many areas of life, yet still feel an unexplainable void if they are not fulfilling the fundamental reason for their creation. This sense of emptiness affects people from all walks of life. Those who are distant from divine guidance often experience it more clearly, as their lives are built entirely around temporary goals. However, even a person who outwardly performs certain religious duties may still feel this void if they do not strive to deepen their understanding and act upon it properly. When actions are carried out without knowledge, reflection, and sincerity, they may become routine habits rather than meaningful acts that nourish the inner self. In many cases, a person may perform acts of worship without understanding their purpose or reflecting on their meanings. Without this connection, these actions may not fully satisfy the spiritual needs of the heart. True fulfillment is achieved when a person combines knowledge with action, learning about Allah the Exalted, understanding His guidance, and applying it consistently in daily life. This transforms worship from a routine into a source of clarity, purpose, and inner peace. When a person begins to live in accordance with their true purpose, a noticeable change occurs. They start to use their blessings correctly, placing importance on what truly matters, and managing their relationships and responsibilities in a balanced way. This leads to stability in both their mental and physical state, as their life is no longer driven by confusion or endless pursuit of temporary satisfaction. As a result, the persistent feeling of emptiness is replaced with a sense of direction, contentment, and fulfillment. Chapter 93 Ad-Duhaa, verse 8.
And he found you poor and enriched.
Such a person no longer depends on worldly achievements to feel complete, as their satisfaction is rooted in their connection with Allah, the Exalted. This alignment brings peace of mind in this world, and ensures lasting success in the hereafter, as they are actively preparing for their accountability on the Day of Judgment, while living a life grounded in purpose and clarity. Chapter 93 Ad-Duhaa, verse 8.
And he found you poor and enriched.
It is essential to recognize that worldly possessions, such as fame, wealth, authority, family, friendships, and career success, only hold true value when accompanied by peace of mind. Without this inner stability, these very blessings can become sources of pressure, anxiety, and hardship in both this life and the next. This reality becomes evident when one reflects on the condition of many who possess abundant wealth and status, yet remain afflicted by mental distress, dissatisfaction, and inner turmoil. Their external success does not translate into internal peace, highlighting that material gain alone cannot fulfill the deeper needs of a person. Furthermore, it is crucial to distinguish between happiness and peace of mind, as the two are fundamentally different. Happiness is an emotion that arises from favorable circumstances, such as social gatherings, achievements, or pleasurable experiences. However, because it is tied to external situations, it is inherently unstable and temporary. A single negative event, or even a harsh word, can instantly remove this feeling. For this reason, Those who chase happiness alone find themselves in a continuous cycle of pursuit without ever attaining lasting fulfillment. This is clearly observed in the lifestyles of those who constantly seek entertainment and stimulation, yet remain inwardly unsettled. Their ongoing pursuit often leads them to misuse the blessings they have been granted, which in turn contributes to further imbalance in their mental and physical state, misplacement of priorities and relationships, and a lack of preparation for their accountability on the day of judgment. The outcome is an increase in stress, confusion, and hardship across both worlds. In contrast, peace of mind is a far deeper and more enduring state. It is not dependent on external circumstances, but rather rooted in one's inner condition and alignment with divine guidance. A person who possesses peace of mind remains inwardly stable, even during times of difficulty and sorrow. For example, while they may experience grief during a painful event, such as the loss of a loved one, that grief does not overwhelm or destroy their inner stability. Unlike happiness, which can easily be disrupted, peace of mind remains firm so long as its foundations are maintained. As the creator of mankind, Allah, the Exalted, alone possesses complete knowledge of what brings about this lasting inner peace. He knows how a person can achieve a balanced mental and physical state, and correctly place everything and everyone within their life. Therefore, it is in a person's best interest to accept and implement Islamic teachings, even when they appear to conflict with personal desires. This is similar to the behavior of a wise patient, who trusts and follows the guidance of a skilled doctor. Although the prescribed treatment may be difficult or unpleasant, the patient understands that it ultimately leads to healing and well-being. In the same way, adherence to divine guidance leads to true success and stability. However, if a person fails to understand the distinction between temporary happiness and lasting peace of mind, they will inevitably misuse the blessings they have been given. As a result, they may experience fleeting moments of joy, but they will never attain true inner peace. Instead, their condition will gradually deteriorate, leading to regret and hardship. Chapter 9 at Tawbah, verse 82.
So let them laugh a little, and then weep much as recompense for what they used to earn.
Islam provides a comprehensive framework for life, encompassing both spiritual and worldly matters. Allah, the Exalted, consistently links the treatment of people and worldly responsibilities to the broader context of obedience throughout the Holy Quran. Chapter 93 Ad-Duhaa, verse 9.
So as for the orphan, do not oppress.
This verse highlights that Islam is not limited to ritual worship alone. It governs every aspect of a person's interaction with the world. Whether dealing with family, colleagues, finances, or societal responsibilities, every action carries accountability. It is therefore mistaken to assume that Allah, the Exalted, is only concerned with strictly religious duties such as prayer or fasting. Rather, every choice, decision, and behavior in daily life is observed and evaluated. To navigate life correctly, a person must actively seek knowledge of Islamic teachings and implement them in all circumstances. Doing so ensures they maintain a balanced mental and physical state, correctly prioritize and manage their relationships and possessions, and adequately prepare for their accountability on the Day of Judgment. This comprehensive application of faith brings stability and inner peace, which extends across both worlds. Conversely, treating Islam selectively, as if it were a coat to be worn only when convenient, reveals that one is, in reality, serving personal desires rather than Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 25 Al-Furqan, verse 43.
Have you seen the one who takes as his God his own desire?
Those who fail to apply Islamic teachings consistently will inevitably misuse the blessings they have been granted. Such misuse leads to a disrupted mental and physical state, mismanaged relationships and possessions, and insufficient preparation for accountability. Even if worldly comforts are present, these individuals will experience stress, confusion, and challenges in both this life and the next. In essence, Islam's guidance is all-encompassing. A person who sincerely integrates it into every aspect of their life will experience inner tranquility and harmony, whereas neglecting its principles leads to imbalance, discontent, and spiritual vulnerability. Chapter 93 Ad-Duhaa, verses 9 to 10.
So as for the orphan, do not oppress. And as for the petitioner, do not repel.
Orphans and widows are frequently emphasized in Islamic teachings because they are among the most vulnerable members of society, often deprived of their rights due to their social or financial weakness. Therefore, a person must actively strive to support those who are socially disadvantaged, in accordance with their means. In today's world, sponsoring an orphan or widow has become remarkably accessible. It can often be arranged online within minutes, with contributions frequently costing less than a typical monthly phone bill. Neglecting this responsibility is a serious omission, as aiding the needy brings continuous support from Allah the Exalted in both worlds. This principle is confirmed in a hadith found in Sahih Muslim, number 6853. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, further emphasized the spiritual significance of such acts. He advised that those who care for orphans will attain closeness to him in paradise, as noted in Sahih Bukhari, number 6005. Additionally, taking care of the needy, including widows, is equated with performing extensive acts of worship. The reward is comparable to that of praying all night and fasting every day, as referenced in Sahih Bukhari, number 6006. For those who struggle with voluntary acts of worship, this provides a practical and highly rewarding alternative for earning immense spiritual merit with relatively minimal effort. It is essential to understand that any means a person possesses, such as wealth, is a loan granted by Allah the Exalted, and not a personal possession. Like any loan, it must be repaid to its rightful owner. The repayment to Allah the Exalted comes through using one's resources in ways pleasing to Him. Therefore, when aiding the needy, a person is fulfilling their obligation to Allah, not performing a favor for Him. In fact, Allah, the Exalted, has honored the person by giving them the opportunity to earn immense reward, and the needy, by accepting this assistance, actually enable the donor to fulfill this duty. Keeping this perspective ensures that one's actions remain sincere, and prevents the invalidation of rewards due to arrogance or a misguided sense of superiority. Finally, aiding the needy is not limited to financial assistance. It encompasses fulfilling any lawful need, whether emotional, physical, or material. Even those with limited resources are expected to assist others in any way possible. Every person, regardless of their circumstances, can contribute to supporting the vulnerable, and such efforts yield blessings and inner peace in both this life and the hereafter. This approach ensures that individuals not only fulfill a key principle of Islam, but also cultivate empathy, humility, and a deeper connection with Allah, the Exalted, while achieving balance and harmony in their own lives. This chapter concludes by commanding the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, to continue conveying the Holy Quran to all people, even in the face of opposition or hostility. This command emphasizes both gratitude for the blessings he received, and the essential role of spreading divine guidance. Chapter 93 Duhaa, verse 11.
But as for the favor of your Lord, narrate.
The most effective way to fulfill this directive, according to the tradition of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, is through leading by example. Leading by example requires deeply learning and sincerely acting upon the teachings of Islam, so that one's actions and speech naturally demonstrate its truthfulness. Only then can individuals effectively teach the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, to the next generation. Teaching in this manner ensures that children and youth internalize the truth of Islam based on evidence and understanding, rather than through blind imitation. Unfortunately, it is common to observe that many parents prioritize worldly education for their children, focusing on academic success, career preparation, and social advancement, while neglecting religious education. Delegating the teaching of Islam entirely to others, without personally guiding their children in understanding its principles, risks creating a generation that views Islam as cultural habit rather than a purposeful way of life. Simply teaching children to recite the Holy Quran without comprehension is insufficient. Teenagers must grasp Islam based on clear evidence, so that they can internalize its principles and apply them consistently in all aspects of life, including the proper use of the blessings they have been granted. This requires that parents and elders actively engage with Islamic teachings themselves, studying, understanding, and applying them, so that they can effectively guide the next generation. When children witness their elders practicing what they preach, they are more likely to adopt the teachings sincerely and remain steadfast throughout their lives. In this way, leading by example not only reinforces personal faith, but also ensures that the transmission of Islamic knowledge to future generations is rooted in understanding, sincerity, and practical application. This approach highlights that conveying the message of Islam is not merely about words, but about living its guidance fully, so that others recognize its truth through both observation and experience. To conclude, a person must sincerely accept and act upon Islamic teachings for their own benefit, even when doing so conflicts with their personal desires. They should approach these teachings like a wise patient who follows their doctor's advice, taking bitter medicines or adhering to a strict diet plan, fully trusting that it will bring about their best outcome. Just as such a patient ultimately attains better physical and mental health, so too will a person who applies the guidance of Islam experience a balanced mind, body, and life. This is because only Allah, the Exalted, possesses the comprehensive knowledge necessary to ensure a person achieves a harmonious mental and physical state, and correctly arranges all aspects of their life. Human knowledge, no matter how advanced, is limited by personal experience, foresight, and inherent biases. It cannot address every challenge, prevent all forms of stress, or provide complete guidance for using one's blessings correctly. Allah, the Exalted, has granted this perfect knowledge to humanity through the Holy Quran and the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. The effects of following this guidance are evident when observing those who act in accordance with Islamic teachings, compared to those who disregard them. While patients may often trust a doctor without fully understanding the science behind their prescriptions, Allah, the Exalted, calls people to engage with His guidance thoughtfully, reflecting on its wisdom and recognizing its truth through clear evidence. Blind faith is not required. Rather, one must approach the teachings with an open and unbiased mind to fully appreciate their transformative effects. Chapter 12 Yusuf, verse 108.
Say, this is my way, I invite to Allah with insight, I and those who follow me.
Moreover, the spiritual heart, the seat of true peace of mind, is entirely under the control of Allah the Exalted, who decides who attains it. Chapter 53 and Najm, verse 43.
And that it is He who makes one laugh and weep.
Thus, it is evident that Allah the Exalted grants peace of mind only to those who use the blessings He has bestowed in ways that align with Islamic teachings. By following this guidance, a person attains not just worldly balance and stability, but also readiness for their accountability on the Day of Judgment, ensuring lasting peace in both worlds. Chapter 16 and Nahl, verse 97.
Whoever does righteousness, whether male or female, while he is a believer, we will surely cause him to live a good life, and we will surely give them their reward in the hereafter according to the best of what they used to do.
All praise is due to Allah, Lord of the worlds, and may peace and blessings be upon His final messenger, Muhammad, his noble family and companions.